Narcissist Seduction, Episode 29. Ian Wynne was at another lunch. Now December had arrived, the circuit had begun, and the next 3 weeks or so revolved around a succession of lunches, dinners, and drink parties. He would host 2 drinks parties himself, had work Christmas functions to attend to, and also a number of events he had been invited to. His liver would be cursing him, but it had to be done. Wynne drank some of the red wine from his glass, and his host immediately made to refill it. Wynne nodded his thanks, and turned round to face the comedian, who was stood up and delivering his routine to the assembled audience. Wynne looked about the various tables which had been pushed close together to ensure the maximum number of people could attend the event. This lunch was always popular, and in effect kicked off the Christmas season. He recognised many of the faces dotted about the room. Indeed, he would see these people repeatedly, as many of the same people attended the various functions, littering the month. Wynne mused that they might as well just attend one big bash and be done with it all, but people felt that they had to host their own events too. Giving and receiving. He realised that the audience was laughing even though he had been lost in his own thoughts and missed the punchline. Not wishing to appear like a curmudgeon, he joined in and then raised his glass once more before anyone could ask him what had been said. A few tables away he could see Blackmore, his bald head bobbing up and down as he laughed. Wynne tried to ascertain whose table his erstwhile colleague, and soon to again be colleague, was sat upon. He only recognised 2 of the other men at the table, probably accountants, he decided. Several hundred suited men and a sprinkling of women attended this event each year, and it raised a considerable sum of money for charity, enabling those who sat around the rectangular tables to feel good about themselves as they walked to taxi ranks and public transport past the cold, dirty beggars outside. Wynne had already secured 2 items in the auction. It was unusual for him to bid, since many of the sporting items related to the city's football clubs, none of which he supported. This time, however, there were some cricket items, and he had secured a box at a forthcoming test match in the summer, with a past England star as a guest. He already had in mind who he'd be inviting to that. Wynne had also bid and won a signed cricket bat, signed by all the members of the Ashes winning side. That had cost him quite a bit, but he was very pleased with that particular acquisition, as had his table, who gave a great drunken roar of approval when he saw off the other bidder. He felt a vibration in his chest again. Ashley had intermittently been texting him throughout the afternoon. It was the usual mixture of pleas for them to be together and asking him what was happening at the lunch, who he was with, and what was being said. Each time he felt a buzz in his pocket, he glanced and saw the golden light. He was slightly conscious that the other guests thought that he was acting rudely by keep checking his phone, but he was concerned that something might have happened, and therefore he needed to check. He didn't want to let Ashley down. There was no emergency, but this did not stop the slew of text from pinging to his phone. It was good that she wanted to keep in touch with him. He wanted to tell the other guests around the table about her and how she made him feel, but he knew that he was not able to. Not yet. Surely, however, the need to behave in a covert manner would be coming to an end. He had earlier pointed out that Blackmore was at the lunch, and now Ashley had responded to that comment. "I've told him I'm on your table. What's he doing? Kiss, kiss, kiss." Wynne looked over to where Blackmore was sat. He could see his head moving backwards and forwards as he sought to look through the crowd of seated attendees in a clear effort to try and view who was on Wynne's table. "Ha, he keeps looking over. Tell him you're on table 14. "Have done." He looked over and could see that Blackmore was half rising from his seat in a bid to get a better view, although not wanting to make himself stand out, lest he attracted the attention of the comedian. Wynne laughed. Blackmore could never stand not knowing something. Wynne felt the vibration of a newly arrived text. "Are we seeing one another later?" "We're all going to head into town for more drinks." "Please, I want to see you. You said you were cut down on the drinking." Wynne frowned. He hadn't said that at all. Well, at least he didn't recall saying that. "I'm a guest. I just can't go." "Please, I'll make it worthwhile. I love you so much." "Put it away, Ian." said the man next to him, had seen him surreptitiously typing. "Work can wait," he added. "It's not work, it's domestic problems," said Wynne. He listened to the rest of the comedian's act and warmly applauded him before leaning over to his host. "John, something's come up at home. I need to go and sort it out," he said. "Can't it wait, mate? We're heading into town. Everybody will be." "Not really. It'll only take me a couple of hours, and then I'll catch you up. Hope you don't mind." "Well, if you have to." "Thanks. Sorry about it, but these things happen. I won't be long. I'll ring you to find out where you are," apologised Wynne, as he got up from the table. He made his way from the banqueting hall and into the foyer. A handful of other people were stood around chatting on their mobiles. He rang Ashley. "Hello. How's it going?" she asked cheerily. "Fine. Listen, I can slip away for a bit." "Marvellous. I knew you wouldn't let me down." "I never do. How about you pick me up from outside the hall and we can then head to mine? I'm just in the foyer now," suggested Wynne. "I can't. I have to finish this document. It should only take me half an hour. Why don't you head over to here and meet me at my car?" Wynne paused. He was heading in the wrong direction, but he did want to see her. "Okay. See you in 30 minutes. "Fantastic. Bye." "Bye." Wynne decided that a taxi would only get snarled up in the late afternoon traffic, and so he'd walk across the city to be near to Ashley's office. He wasn't drunk, but it would sober him up further and avoid any accusing questions from Ashley that he'd been getting stuck into the drink. He could do that later when he met the chaps back up in town. He strode through the crowds, Christmas shoppers dawdling along the pedestrianised street, bags knocking against his legs as he felt his phone vibrate again. He extracted it and saw it as a message from Ashley. "All I want for Christmas is a leather wristband with a special message from you. Kiss, kiss, kiss." Wynne smiled. She would often surprise him with messages like this, completely unrelated to what they had been discussing or the matter in hand. The phone buzzed again. "You can get them from notintheshops.com. Wynne replied. "Okay, I'll have a look." Wynne continued to walk across the city centre. Every so often, his phone would buzz in his pocket, and it would be a message from Ashley. Dark brown strap. Silver metal part for the inscription. Think of something only me and you will understand. I love you. Wearing it will mean you are right next to my skin all the time. Make the wording special. You could get one too, so we match. I just can't stop thinking about you and how wonderful you make me feel. Nobody's ever made me feel this way. Promise we will always be together. Where could we get married? Think of somewhere. What about Scotland, winter or summer? On my birthday, perhaps. The flow of messages was such that he barely had time to try and respond to them. He could not respond as well as he would have, as he would need to stand still to type, and this would delay his journey across the city. He smiled at the messages, but did wonder when Ashley was actually working on the document that she had mentioned. His phone vibrated again. He was not far from the car park. Just told Louise about my plans concerning Peter. Her response shocked and surprised me, in a good way. Will tell you when I see you. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Wynne recalled that Louise was one of Ashley's long-standing friends from university. They had studied economics together, and Louise worked for another bank in the city, Mega Bank, if he remembered correctly. Wynne reached the car park and made his way to Ashley's X5, glancing at the registration plate, which bore both her and Peter's initials. Apparently his car was similar, albeit with a different number between the two sets of initials, 2 for his and 3 for her. Wynne kept watch to ensure that nobody from Novobank had spotted him, but this area of the car park was quiet. He had arrived on time, but 15 minutes had elapsed and there was no sign of Ashley. He had rung her mobile after 10 minutes, but had gone straight to voicemail. He leant against her black vehicle, noting it could do with a clean around the wheels. He flicked through his emails and answered a couple, but nothing had noted arisen during his time at the lunch. This was most likely because most of the people who would email him were actually at that lunch. Well, the important ones anyway. A couple of messages arrived from John asking if everything was okay, and secondly advising him which bar they were in. He had answered confirming that matters were in hand, and he would be with them as soon as he was able. Another 10 minutes had passed, and still Ashley had not appeared. He rang her mobile, and after 3 rings she answered. "Hi. Hi, where are you?" "Just walking to the car now." She seemed oblivious to the fact that 20 minutes had passed since the agreed time to meet. "I've been stood waiting for 20 minutes, he said calmly. "Have you? Did you get there early?" "No, I got here at the time we agreed, 4:30. "Did we agree a time?" "Yes." "Oh, right. I was caught up in some discussion about the document I'm drafting. Had to get it sorted. Are you okay?" "Yes." "You sound a bit drunk." "No, I'm not drunk." "I can see you," she said. He looked up and saw her around the corner. He ended the call. Smiling, Ashley walked up and looked around to see they were unobserved, and she pecked him on the cheek. Wynne was irritated to have been kept waiting, but she didn't even seem to notice. He opted against saying anything, as he didn't want their time to be eaten into with her getting upset about him pointing out about her poor timekeeping. This, along with her uncanny ability rarely to have any money on her, grated on him at times, but he kept his own counsel about these irritations. He didn't want to go down the route taken by Peter and get on her back about them. The money wasn't really an issue, as he had plenty. It was more of a case of it seeming like she just assumed that he should pay for everything, as if she was entitled to him doing so. Her lack of punctuality did annoy him. He always regarded not being on time as rude, as it showed that you didn't value the other person's time. She always seemed oblivious. Often she would breeze into a bar or cafe 10 or 20 minutes late without an apology, or even a sign that she knew that she was late. He knew from their many discussions that Peter regularly chastised her for her tardiness, and she was sensitive to it. She repeatedly recounted tales of him shouting down the phone because she was still at work or out shopping. He had decided that he would just have to suck up this flaw of hers. In the scheme of things, compared to all the other wonderful attributes, it wasn't too great a cross to bear. "I see you're wearing the shirt and tie I picked for you," she smiled as they climbed into the car. "But of course, how could I not? A few people complimented me on them," remarked Wynne. Nobody had said anything. After all, the other guests were not men who would engage in discussions about fashion. He wanted Ashley to feel that her choice had met with approval, however. He was right to have done so, as her face broke into a wide smile at his remark. "Did they? I thought they might. I do have excellent taste. Stripes suit you. Much better than blocks of pastel colours." "I like pastel colours for my shirts," said Wynne. They're okay. As I said before, I'm not trying to change you. You just need a little tweaking." "Well, I'm happy to be tweaked," said Wynne. Ashley started the engine and reversed out of her space. She exited the car park, and they waited as several cars passed before they could join the road leading them from the multi-story. "So, what did Louise have to say?" he asked as they joined another road and the car picked up speed. "I told her that I'm going to divorce Peter." "Okay." I was shocked by her response. She texted him back and wrote, "Good, I don't like him and Jen hates him. I might not put it that strong, but you should have done this years ago." "That's encouraging," remarked Wynne. "Why are you shocked by it, though?" "I just thought that she wouldn't approve." "Sorry, why would she not approve when she says she doesn't like him?" "Oh, she and Jen really do not like Peter. It got to the point that they would not come over to the house when he was there. He would not join in our conversations, but he would hover on the edge, pretending to do something else so he could listen in. After they were gone, he would pick up on things that they and I had said and question me about it. I felt like I was being cross-examined at times." "That is strange behaviour." "I know. It's all about control. He wanted them to know that he knew what they were talking about, without having to be pleasant and sitting down with us. The girls would politely raise it with me afterwards. Of course, as usual, I made excuses for his behaviour, but I could tell they weren't impressed. Jen absolutely hates him. She has a huge barbecue every summer, but we never get invited because she doesn't like him." "She could invite you," suggested Wynne. "Oh, no, she couldn't do that. He'd go mental if she did that. And if I even considered going without him, well, it wouldn't be worth my while." "That doesn't surprise me, but you haven't explained why you thought she would disapprove of you saying that you're going to divorce him." "I didn't say that," answered Ashley as she pressed down on the accelerator, causing the car to surge forward. "Yes, you did. Just a minute ago, you said you thought she would not approve." "No, I didn't say that." "You did." "I didn't." Wynne let out a sigh. "It doesn't matter. The main thing is that she agrees with your intended action." "Yes, I think she'd kind of given up on me, to be honest. She and Jen had been telling me for years for me to leave Peter. They were over the moon when I left him 4 years ago, and I could tell they were hugely disappointed with me when I went back. They don't understand, though. Neither of them have children." "I see." The car lurched to one side as Ashley aggressively cut through the traffic. "Did you mention me to her?" asked Wynne. "No." "Why not?" "It's too early." "I see." Ashley looked across at him. "Are you cross with me about that?" No, not at all. I just thought you might have mentioned to her about you and me, seeing as she's such a good friend." "I will. I just can't do it now. It's easier that way." "Fair enough." "Anyway, I need to concentrate on that delicious dick of yours, don't I?" smiled Ashley, as she lifted her hand from the gear stick and groped at Wynne's crotch. He returned the smile, relishing her hand, his body responding. "I needed to see you," she continued as she rubbed him through his suit trousers. "I can sense that." "No, not that. Honestly, you have a one-track mind. Mind you, you are a man, of course." "Not like that," said Wynne defensively. "You men are all the same, always after a shag." And you aren't," declared Wynne, taken aback by this comment from someone as highly sexed as Ashley. "Only with you. You're the only one who knows how to bring it out in me." "Glad you think so." "As I was saying, I needed to see you. I have a night out tomorrow, and I just know it's going to be a battle with him. I will want to have a drink, but he will insist I drive. He hates me having a drink. He's such a killjoy." "More control," said Wynne. "Precisely. So I needed to spend time with you, as that will keep me calm before I have to go and have an inevitable argument with him tonight." "He really shouldn't make a scene. Surely he's got Christmas dues that he has to go to." "Yes, he has, but he never seems bothered about them. He would rather stand scrutinizing the wine that is being served and checking his tasting notes than actually entering into the spirit of things." "Each to their boring own, I guess," remarked Wynne. He shifted his position so Ashley could reach him more easily. Her hand jumped between his crotch and the gear stick as she drove through the city towards his house. "I don't know what you do to me, Mr. Wynne, but you bring something out in me." "Long may it continue," he replied. "I need to merge with you. I can't get close enough to you," she said, as she pulled into Wynne's avenue. She removed her hand from touching him and pulled into a parking space. She turned the key and quietened the engine as she twisted in her seat to look at him. "I want you to have me in the hallway as soon as we walk through the door. I'm so ready for you." "It'll be a pleasure," answered Wynne, as he undid his seatbelt. "Imagine what it will be like when we return to our own home every day. It'll be heaven," said Ashley, as she looked out of the car window and regarded Wynne's impressive property. "Yes, it will be. A place of love and happiness and safety." "Finally, I've found you, and it has taken 40 years, but you have saved me. Come on, I need you to have me. Hard." She widened her eyes and let her tongue run across her lower lip. The doors of the car opened at the same time, as Wynne and Ashley sprang from the car, eager to couple once they were through the front door.